Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome to it's not a actual full Grand Slam episode, but it's our Grand Slam mini. We had one
It's
before.
our home run
Home run.
patented.
It's a baseball reference if you guys don't know, you know. It's a it's one of those baseball questions or Easter eggs or references and stuff, and you know.
It's because our show's called the Grand Slam. That means two things: either it's the Denny's Grand Slam, or it's the baseball Grand Slam.
Yeah. And
So,
we've had a grand slam mini before or a home run. We've had one of those before, which was like it was me and Will for like some quick updates or just quick discussions as a mini episode for like Christmas and stuff. And today, and I wanted to keep on doing those because there's some things that not all of us see, but we also want to bring in some guests where we discuss like certain things like a show or a movie or like a game and have like a full discussion on it that I feel like wouldn't really fit in a full podcast episode for us. But we'll see how this goes. So if you guys like it, if you guys don't. But today, I think you guys enjoyed this one episode today. Because unfortunately, our boy Will isn't here. He is on a trip and a journey for us to get sponsored by Werther's Originals. Because as you can see,
Werther's Original.
we're these originals, and he's fighting tooth and nail for us to get that sponsorship. We are proud of Will for doing that, and he's right there doing that. He was the one who had to stop the hamster strikes recently on one of our episodes. So I mean, it was he was the man to do the job for us to get that sponsorship. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to get that sponsorship. So thank you, Will, for your service. Thank you, Will, for your service.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And that is Werther's Original, the only hard candy that could be found deep in your pocket.
We're
But
but today, guys.
No, I don't think that's true.
Oh, speaking of, well, today we have a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. We've had her on the show before, and we are happy to have her again on this mini episode, Miss Laurie, the lovely Laurie.
Well, hello, Grand Slam boys. I love being on the show. I love it when you invite me out here.
We happy to have you on the show today, Laurie. And of course, I want to ask a quick question before we start: is how are you guys doing? How are you all guys? How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. As everyone knows, here in Texas, they opened up 100% again, which almost directly led to projects starting to come up. All of us who do, I think all of us on the show in some way are involved in the arts as far as comms, film, radio, theater, television. And I don't know if y'all have noticed, but projects have been coming up left and right now. And when it rains, it pours. There was just months and months of standstill when it came to a lot of our creative endeavors. And now the doors are just bursting open. However, of course, the utmost important thing is everyone staying safe and continuing to still try and live the safest they can. But I am loving the fact that we get to express ourselves creatively once again. So
Yeah.
continue wearing masks and social distancing, even though we're open 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
We try not to get political on here, but I'm the only one who somehow becomes political.
yeah. It's because I'm not that big of a political guy, but I will say that SpongeBob episode where they discuss hey, Texas is dumb or stupid, what's the difference? It makes a lot of sense now,
I don't know if it premiered last night, but I don't know if anybody has seen the South Park special.
Yeah, I watched it last night.
But that's it. It's amazing how they can use sophomoric humor to really nail home some points. I think Trey Parker and Matt Stone are just geniuses.
They changed. I did notice one thing, and they posted this on Twitter and on Facebook. They changed the opening text before their episode. Like it said something a bit more about like in today's climate that they're really emphasizing that what we're saying here is a joke.
Absolutely.
So it's like that they really they changed it to, which I didn't think they were ever going to do because I thought the original was just fine.
Mhm.
But They wanted to change it, and they changed it. And I'm glad that, the humor is still the same.
Humor during wars, back in the old days during war, they had the USO shows because Bob Hope was at the helm of that because he believed that in times of crisis, we needed humor, we needed entertainment, we needed laughter, and it gets us through so many situations. And personally, I remember when 9/11 happened, and I remember Saturday Night Live, everything was happening right there in New York, and not only they were really going back and forth on whether or not to do a show that first Saturday after 9/11, and they brought in first responders who actually still were dirty from going through the rubble because they had already been out there for a while, and they brought them in for the opening monologue, and they brought in Mayor Giuliani at the time.
Before we realized how great bad shit insane.
Robin,
anyway,
Robin,
you can bleep that out, Edgar.
Well, we've discussed about Rudy Booby Bonnie on the show with Borat, So, yeah.
As I was saying, after 9/11, Saturday Night Live came back that first Saturday, brought in the first responders on stage who were still dirty from being out there a while trying to go through the rubble and find remains. And Mayor Giuliani came out, and he's the one who did the opening monologue. And they emphasized that if we needed anything, and if we were anything, we were a resilient country. If we needed anything, we needed humor. We needed levity in time of darkness. And that's always stayed with me. And it's always stayed with me during the pandemic too. And we used to have a social climate where we embrace things like that. And I think lately there's been this weird kind of gray area where people are saying, oh, we have to be sensitive to it. We can't make light of things. But things get too heavy, and if we let things get too heavy, then we're just going to go down with it. And we have to find joy, we have to find humor and levity in everything in life.
Yeah, it's like that. And I'm just my only stance is just wear your mask. Don't listen to what this Texas governor is saying. He's a bit of a dum-dum. Well, not a bit of a dum-dum. He is a big dum-dum.
I will tell you, though, that we are going to be shocked. Mark my words. I said it here first. We are going to be shocked at the amount of entertainment Texas is going to have in the next few months, in the next year. So many other states are not opening up that there are musicians and there are all sorts of events which are only going to be able to perform to crowds in Texas. And Texas has always been the place where we couldn't get these big bands. And right now we're going to be getting all of them. We're going to be getting all sorts of bands who are trying to get back on the touring tour. The musical touring here in Texas over the next year is going to be insane.
It's gonna. We'll see how that goes. But yeah,
wear your masks.
wear your mask, everyone. Yeah, it's that's the moral of our story, guys.
We're about to relive the Roaring '20s because after
Prohibition.
No.
Oh, thank God.
Not that far.
Oh.
Probably not.
Oh God, I just threw up in my mouth.
meaning like it's weird how history is kind of repeating itself, where we're having a pandemic, just like in 1918, and then the 20s happened. And we're in the 20s, and as soon as the pandemic is "quote unquote" over,
Prohibition.
Oh my God!
Oh my gosh! No! No!
I don't even know why they would want to bring that back.
I do. And I'm probably on their top 10 list because I get a little cray-cray. But please don't take it away.
But yeah. Anyway.
Wandavision.
Anyways, so what we're focusing on today is a recent show that came out, and of course we're not, as I say, we're not really a big focus on the superhero stuff, and we dabble on it here and there sometimes, but not too. I don't want to focus on it too much, but this is a very interesting type of superhero show and something different for this company, which was a show called WandaVision, which is a Disney Plus exclusive, which I will be honest, I wasn't excited when I heard this because I was already on um the superhero fatigue. I was kind of already getting done, like after Endgame, I was already kind of like getting that fatigue. And I was like, I don't know about this. I probably will never watch it. And then I started hearing stuff, and then now we started watching, and now we're doing a discussion on it. A discussion on it.
I was in the same boat, but I was still. But then when they said that they were going to make it like a sitcom type deal, that's how it was. It was pitched at 1st, like when we were hearing about it, and I was like, okay, I want to let me see a trailer,
Yeah,
and then I'll decide if I want to watch it. And then the trailer happens, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
This looks interesting.
the trailer looked intriguing. It was just for me. It's like, for me personally, I don't know how you guys feel with this. When the entire MCU before WandaVision, I never cared for Wanda or Vision at all. I knew who they were in the stories because in the comics, it's Wanda was, I believe, in love with Wonder Man, which is one of the superheroes they never bring into the MCU. He gets killed, and when they took the Vision body that Ultron was creating, they put Wonder Man's consciousness into Vision, and so it was a mix of Wonder Man and Vision's memory in that brain, and then that's how the romance was continuing with them. But they took a different approach with this one, which I kind of feel was kind of a better approach, but I don't. It's very iffy on that. It's been a while since I've seen Age of Ultron, but it's like I've never cared for Vision or Wanda. A bit of Wanda, because I cared for Wanda more than I did with Quicksilver. So, but with Vision, I never gave a reason why I should like him or why I should care for him. And the same thing for Wanda. I'm like, I can kind of understand with Wanda, but it's like there's nothing in the MCU that gives me explanation or gives me something to be interested and and care for these two characters until WandaVision came out.
I have to say, I agree with you on the whole fatigue from the whole Marvel universe. Everything was just coming at us so rapidly. And then when I saw the preview for this is probably the thing that's piqued my interest the most, because of the sitcom format. And then when I saw the preview, oh my gosh, I was sold. I was the one who was up with my son at 5 a.m. every Friday morning so we could watch it. And it's had me hooked ever since the first episode. And I love WandaVision.
Yeah.
I am completely 100% one of my favorite things to come out of them. And I know a lot of people have been on the fence. I know some people are just like, well, why did they do this whole sitcom kind of thing? But I thought it was genius. And I think that they got a whole new group of following with this because they played into nostalgia factor just the right way.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the more like interesting or like unique approaches they did with like any Marvel thing recently. Because I think kind of like one of the last ones they did that with is when they brought James Gunn and he took an approach with Guardians of the Galaxy, a group of Marvel comics that no one has ever heard except James Gunn or like 12 people, and then he blew them up like crazy. And with this show, I feel like I think it was like, I don't think there was any other way to approach Wanda and Vision if we want to care for them other than how they did it with this show. And I would agree. I would agree with you, Laurie. It's like I didn't expect to love this show so much. I like, and it's kind of the thing that's gets me excited back to what these Marvel shows are doing, because I'm like,
it kind of like this show was either going to have the boat float or the boat was going to sink immediately.
Yeah. Because it's like
this is the first one, and then the next one's coming up is Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and it's like, and the other kind of reason I wasn't really interested because I thought that this show was just gonna be on the budget of like what Agent Carter is or Agents of Shield, or maybe even in the budget of the Netflix Marvel shows they have, which is like not really a big budget, but just like I guess like like a small budget that they don't have the budget to make effects or stuff. But I can see that Disney or and Marvel really are giving a big budget to their new Disney Plus exclusives, specifically on their Marvel shows. And it shows because at first they did it with the Mandalorian, and there was it had a good budget for that one. But I feel with
Yeah.
WandaVision they're starting to show it, and now with the Falcon and Winter Soldier coming out, I believe next week, like the trailers that I've seen from it, it looks like if it's gonna be like like mini movies because it has the budget of like a Marvel film in these new Marvel shows they have on Disney Plus, and it's
Same with Loki coming out later. I don't even. When did they say that one was coming out?
Loki should be coming out after the winter Falcon and the Winter Soldier ends.
Okay.
You know what we were saying at the top of the show, talking about how in times of distress, how we rise and we look to something that will bring us levity. And I have to say, I think it was just the perfect timing to come out. I
Mhm.
think a lot of people, because of everything we've been through, 2020 was quite the year. A lot of people lost people very close to them.
Yeah.
So Wanda losing vision, and there are so many people who are in mourning right now
Mhm.
in so many different ways. And I think it resonated on that level. I think it resonated with the nostalgia of the old TV shows. I think it resonated with the fact that whether it be comic books, television, I know all of us, when we've gone through childhood where we were either bullied or didn't have a great home life, or something traumatic happened to us, or we went through the foster care system, or anything that happened to us as children, we turn to things that get us through those hard times. And when Wanda, and it's going to sound crazy, and I think this is probably the reason I personally resonated with it so much, when Wanda's dealing with her grief by immersing herself in this sitcom world, it took me straight back to my childhood. And when you're little and things are going on, I had my older brother, and when you grow up in a house with parents who argue sometimes or fight, I remember my brother sitting me down in front of the television set, and he'd turn it up really loud, and whether it was a show or a movie, it was always either the Muppets or Full House for me. But as
Mhm.
soon as he would turn it on, he'd turn it up real high. And he'd say, "Don't listen to the arguing, baby girl. Just watch the TV."
Yeah.
And I would. And it was my sanctuary. It was my escape. Going, watching the TV, going to the movies to get away from home for just those 2 hours. And so when I see that she's immersing herself in this world of sitcoms, I got it all the way up into that last episode, or not the last episode, but I think it was the 5th episode, where Agatha takes her into her childhood traumas, and she
Mhm.
goes back to this episode, very specific episode. It's her favorite episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show. And I was in tears. My son kind of looked at me because I was kind of trying to hold it back, but I kind of got overwhelmed with emotion. And I kind of he was like, "Mom, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" And I explained to him why. And he was just like, "It's okay, Mom." And I was just like, "I know." I said, "But I don't think I've ever seen anything that's quite got it like that
Mhm.
quite explained it just the way that I felt it. And I'm sure so many people felt that way. And that's the other great thing I loved about it. I remember when I saw the first episode of WandaVision, and it was that episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show. And I remember my son, he's constantly reading the blogs, he's constantly reading the spoiler stuff. So he always knows so much as far as what he reads on the internet. But
Mhm.
I'm sitting there as somebody who watched Nick at Night all night, and who used to watch these shows all my life as a child. I've been watching them for almost 40 years. And I'm watching it, and I told him on that first episode, "This is a specific episode, Aiden." And he was looking at me, and he was like, "No, Mom, it's a combination of this show and that show." I was like, "Not this one, Aiden. This is a specific episode." And he was like, "Well, Mom, nothing's saying that." And I was just like, "Wait." And I was just like, "Well, maybe I'm wrong, but wait, I think I'm right." And then at the end, in the 5th episode, you find out it was that specific episode.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
my son looked at me, and he was like, "Mom." And I was like, "Son, I know it because I saw it.
Yeah, because I believe I remember seeing like an article or like a video talking about how Kevin Feige always wanted to do like kind of like a superhero show in the way of like sitcom like what they did with WandaVision, because he himself is a huge fan. He grew up with these shows with the Dick Van Dyke and Full House and a lot of these old sitcom shows and television. So he's always wanted to implement that in the show, but he didn't want to implement it just because he wanted to. He wanted to add it just for like if it should have it. And I guess with WandaVision, it was he felt like it was the right time and right place to do it. And I feel like their execution with the show, I feel like it was really strong. And these couple of episodes that stay on that route of like doing these sitcom episodes that are like that they homage to like you said, the Dick Van Dyke Show or like Bewitched and Brady Bunch, Malcolm in the Middle, Modern Family, The Office, and all these. It's like those are. I feel like those are the ones that are the strongest episodes in the series for me personally because of how it starts.
Office. Which one was?
It was the one. Well, I guess it's the one. It was the Modern Family mixed with The Office episode.
Well, that's how Modern Family is. It's similar to, like, they have those interview type deals in Modern Family.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the episode was a mix of that.
Edgar, stop! Why are you getting pissed?
Because Robin, you're wrong and I'm right.
This is Marvel stuff.
This is Marvel stuff. Because you were asking what episode was that. I'm like, it's the one that was like the Modern Family mixed with The Office one.
Can we talk about how brilliant, though, that we have the introduction here of Agatha?
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know this until like later on once we found out about Agatha she was the voice of Dr. Octopus in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that she voiced her.
Yeah. And I think she was wonderful. And I would love to see her in a lot of stuff, like in a lot of in future movies or shows, because she was such a great part of the show, like the way, especially when they finally reveal it to her. And that,
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course, like I was like every time I saw this, every time I saw Agatha, I'm like I could see Laurie playing Agatha in the show.
It's so funny because all of my kids are like, "Mommy, that's you." and I'm like, "Quiet, kids, get back in the oven."
Oh my god!
Oh god! Oh my! But a lot of things in this show, it's like a lot of it I really enjoy and I really like. I will say so. I guess towards like the ending of the show, like there were some things that I was like, it was okay with it, but I still feel overall the show was really strong. And the strongest episodes is when they were homaging to a lot of these old sitcoms. These couple of episodes, I felt those were the strongest because it was like of how they took the show. I guess you could say how serious they took it. Where it's like, oh, it felt like, oh, it's just a sitcom, we don't know about it. But then they would bring in like these little tidbits and these eerie scenarios, like when it was the Dick Van Dyke episode, the first one where you see the guy Vision's boss choking. Like it changes from like that television perspective to like IMAX looking perspective where it's just like what the fuck's going on, and then it just goes back to regular television look. And those moments, I feel I'm like those were like the best parts that I like about the show, where it's like you're wondering what's going on, like how did WandaVision get here? How is Vision alive? How, like, who's this neighbor of theirs? Who are these people? I'm like, where is Wanda? And then like as the show goes on, we get the answers for this and the whole show. It is a Wanda and Vision show where it's just like getting to know these two characters more than we did in the MCU. But I feel it mostly focuses on Wanda herself and what she deals with, and we get to learn from that
we finally get some character building.
Yeah,
we do.
These two characters,
But oh my goodness, can they be more obvious with the message they're trying to do? They're trying to send by the way men and women handle conflict. The women are just savagely going at each other, while the two visions are very intellectually talking about.
The ending of it.
Then again, they are supposed to be computers.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's something to add to it. But other than that, yeah, I
you get, and then in the animal kingdom, though, they do say that females are the more vicious of the. If it's you're gonna find a female, of any species compared to the male, the female is more vicious because they're more protective.
Yeah, especially when they have the children, they're more protective.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You never want to get between a mama bear and her cubs.
Yeah,
she will rip your face off.
Yeah. And the other thing that I liked from this show, from those strong episodes where they're still like doing the homages to the old sitcoms, it's when they have those commercial breaks where it's like it's like this is the Stark toaster and then Von Strucker's watch and then like these other commercials. And I guess for me personally, like, cause I did watch sometimes the Dick Van Dyke Show, the Brady Bunch. I used to watch a lot because it was on like some old on. I don't know how it is in like other channels here, but it's like where it's the
TV Land or something.
It was on like MeTV, one of those new channels they have, not for cable, but that's where they would show a lot of the old ones, and but the other one, it was the Brady Bunch episode that I was kind of familiar with, but it was more the Malcolm in the Middle episode that I was very familiar with. When the intro started, I'm like, isn't that the Malcolm in the Middle intro, but just different?
I already immediately knew it was Malcolm in the Middle when the kids started talking to the camera.
Yeah, but
like the way that it was, especially the way that it was. Like the cameras were positioned and the certain sound effects that were happening even before the intro.
Yeah,
and then the intro was like it just confirmed it. Like, oh yeah. Cool. It's
and the commercial they had for that episode, it was very like familiar to like Saturday morning cartoon commercials.
Yeah.
Which was a shark trying to make this kid eat a yogurt, and the kid dies before he gets to open the yogurt.
I loved it. I loved it so much.
It's like a lot, and it's like a lot of these little nods to like these other like old sitcoms they had, while they have it focused on like a main one, like the first episode is like the Dick Van Dyke Show, and I believe the second episode is Bewitched.
Yeah,
and then like it goes on with these other episodes, and and I feel like what was
the 80s one? Was that supposed to be Family Ties?
Yeah.
Yes, that's Family Ties.
Okay, that's what I was thinking it was.
Because I remember when because the intro had like the paintbrush, like it was painting a picture of them, and I'm like, where is that from? Because I'm like, I've seen that before, and I was looking it up. I'm like, okay, Family Ties, that's where it's from. Yeah. But the
80s one threw me because I haven't. The only 80s sitcoms that I've seen was like Cheers. Mm-hmm. That was really it. And I knew it's like, oh, this is not Cheers, but it has to be based off of something else. And then I thought like, oh, it's probably Family Ties. But
you know what I love to see though? I mean, I love the sitcoms that they picked, but I was kind of like, man, it would have been so cool to see like Vision and Wanda coming out like like going through a junkyard like old Sanford and Son. But I mean, I digress.
Yeah. I don't know why, but like there are some times where I was kind of hoping they would do like a little like homage to the Batman show, but I'm like, wait, that's DC. I don't think they would be able to have the rights to do that.
I think it would have been funny if in the 90s one, if it wasn't just Malcolm in the Middle, but they somehow did Frasier.
Oh my god.
Vision come into the house is like with one of his like coworker people that was part of the show. Is like, would you like some sherry?
Yeah. Yeah, but that episode where it was like the Malcolm Middle one, I did like the big like Easter egg they did with each of the heroes, because with Vision wearing his classic Vision costume, but as a Halloween costume. Same thing with Wanda, and with one of the surprises of the show, which I got spoiled by because someone on Snapchat put just the text of it, and I fucking hate him for that.
Which let's just say from here on out is spoilers. If you're watching this on YouTube, go to this timestamp, which Edgar should put the timestamp on the screen.
It probably would be in the beginning because we did spoil a bit of it before. But
my bad.
I mean, all we really talked about was like the styles of TV shows.
But we also did discuss the two visions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good point.
And
all right,
Agatha.
so take this section of it and then move it to the beginning. Just say what is this timestamp.
Hold up, I'll put it. Spoiler alerts. This is recorded halfway, but this is spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the show, go watch it. If not, just stick around with us and we'll start doing spoilers. So yeah, the reveal of Quicksilver, I was mad that someone posted on Snapchat about it, and I was really mad that they had it. I know online there was speculation of it, but I would have been surprised to see that it was Quicksilver to reveal. Not just any Quicksilver, but it was the Quicksilver from the X-Men series, Evan Peters.
It was Quicksilver with big quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Big quotes.
Later find out in the end, it's like, oh, it's not really him. It's just some guy that's an actor that got possessed by Agatha.
Yeah.
To be Quicksilver.
I love Evan Peters.
He was. I really liked him in this show when they brought him in. I'm like, I was still excited when I saw the reveal. I'm like, oh shit.
And like in retrospect, I kind of wish that, like, man, now I kind of wish it was really Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Because that would be kind of cool to then say, like, oh, this is an Easter egg to what's to come in the MCU of them bringing in X-Men.
I was also kind of hoping it was the X-Men Evan Peters, because it would have been not just an Easter egg, but like an introduction of the start of the multiverse, because apparently WandaVision, this series is what leads up to the Doctor Strange sequel, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
And you can see that when she's having her final battle with Agatha, when she's in the shows that she is the Scarlet Witch, and there's that whole thing. Apparently, like, I didn't notice this until I saw it later on Facebook, where they said, like, you can see her having that elemental vision thing that Doctor Strange has in his movie.
Yeah,
like he gets.
It was the second end credit.
Yeah.
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 It was a second end credit. Oh my goodness.
Oh, there's a second one.
Yeah, there was a second one. My goodness.
Oh, damn, Robin, you didn't see the second end credit?
I may have. Just remind me what it is again.
The end credit, it pans to a small cabin, and you see her like drinking tea, but then you realize that she's doing like that projection thing that Doctor Strange does while she's like reading that book. And then she hears her kid say, "Mommy, help."
She's there. Yeah, they're screaming for her help. And she's there playing with it. She's trying to figure it out.
Oh, shit. Now I got to watch it.
Yeah.
I just got to go back.
We just blew
Wow,
his
Robin. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin did not see the second end credit, guys.
I didn't know there was a second end credit.
It was amazing.
It was
the best thing out of the whole series.
I wouldn't say.
No, I'm joking.
I would say it does make me excited for the Doctor Strange film now.
I was already excited for it, especially if Sam Raimi is directing it.
Sam Raimi's directing it. They're bringing back what's his face? Why am I forgetting the composer's name? Is it Danny Elfman?
Danny Elfman.
They're bringing
Danny Elfman's doing the music.
Yeah, the one who did the Spider-Man soundtrack, one of the best Spider-Man soundtrack. And yeah. I'm like, that's already making me excited for that film.
And already just excited to hear that they said it was going to be kind of like, it's going to be the closest to them doing a horror movie set in the MCU.
Mm-hmm. And what they have
described it. And I'm like, oh, I'm excited for that now.
And I believe that because I believe Sam Raimi will do that. Because I've seen Sam Raimi's filmography, and I'm excited for that.
We've reviewed 2 of them.
Yeah, we did. So I can expect to see what he's gonna. I'm really excited to see what he's gonna do with Doctor Strange, and now that WandaVision is gonna be part of that film, and seeing this, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm excited to see Wanda in the show, because apparently they say that because in the show they discuss, Agatha talks about how Wanda, how she's like one of the most powerful witches in that ever. Because she's like, it's like chaotic magic she has.
It's prophesized she will destroy the world.
Oh, is
Yeah.
she going to become the next bad guy that they have to? That
I don't know,
have to
but
fight?
Agatha said, "You're in the prophecy. You're the one. You will destroy the world."
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And-
how the MCU ends.
And that's how, and a lot of people are like, they're hypothesizing that
that we can finish up this our version of the Wild West movies.
because a lot of like a lot of
Yeah.
hypotheses are going on where it's like where she might be the villain of Doctor Strange 2, or like in some other kind of form. That's what people are hypothesizing, but I don't know if that's gonna be the situation.
I mean, well, especially how it was kind of how they were kind of building her up to kind of be like that until Agatha shows up.
Because like towards the end of the show, it's because
but here's the thing, like they were kind of making it seem like she was, but you kind of understand why she was doing it too.
Yeah, because the whole time, because
your internal thing is just like, no, but she can't be a bad guy because she was a good guy. But I understand why she's doing this. Because
because I will say in the I believe in the comics, she's one of the ones that she is like really powerful. So like there's things that she does that messes up the Marvel universe.
She goes rogue.
Yes.
She goes evil.
For those who don't know what Scarlet Witch did, what she did was she basically kidnapped an entire town and turned that into an internal bubble of what transitions from each episode from a 50s TV show to a 60s TV show and so on and so on.
Yeah. And she didn't do it like on purpose. It was more that like, because when we find out, it's she even said it like towards the beginning. She just felt like she was like just sad and she was angry. She had all these emotions, and I guess it just spewed out, and it created this huge like hexagon or like helix thing.
I mean, it was pretty much just a giant bubble.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it turned to a square towards the end.
Yeah, her pain became their pain, and when she slept, they had her nightmares.
Yeah.
So while she was living in this little fantasy world that was pacifying her, everything that she had been feeling before she created it, she was basically distributing to everyone who was in her little bubble.
Yeah.
And she was unaware of it though.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, and when they saw that, it was because when she was fighting Agatha, and Agatha released everyone from that spell, and they all just came up to her and asked her if they could go home because they want to see their family, want to see their kids. You left them all alone, and they're like, we feel your pain. Like, please stop this. And I liked that scene because I was like, it was just showing like how much damage she was doing without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And the end was just her like letting everything go, letting this go. And I feel like later on in the future of the MCU, we will see her reunite with the White Vision, which that sword agency made to use as a weapon.
I think that was kind of an interesting way of how they were able to bring back Vision into the world. I was like, because I'm thinking yeah, they killed him, and I kind of like thought like, oh no, I would have been fine if it was like we didn't have him anymore.
Yeah,
because I didn't think of like how else could they bring him back.
I kind of
not make sense, and then they did it this way. I'm like, oh no, that makes sense.
Because
I'm fine with that.
I was more on the route where it's like they're either not going to bring him back, or they're going to bring him, or they're either not going to like bring him back. He's going to be dead for good, or they're going to do like a White Vision thing. Because it's also in the comics where it's White Vision, where it's like after he was destroyed, he doesn't really have the memories of what he had in the past.
I was about to say technically, Vision is dead.
Yeah,
this is a new version of him.
Yeah. He does have the memories now because when he was fighting the Wanda's vision, he like opened up like the memories he had in that AI, and so I guess like I feel like maybe later on in like future MCUs we're gonna see him like try to get like the vision he was back, but not like fully. It's just we're gonna see his journey through it. But who knows? Because after that, we just see him and he flies off and we never see him again.
Talk about some of the most poetic words I've ever heard were at the end of this series when he's talking about everything that he's been. He, was he's a memory, he's this, he's that, who knows what he'll be next. And I'm going to tell you right now, those final words that, he said, we've said goodbye before, so it stands to reason that we'll say hello again.
Yeah.
Brilliant writing there. And oh my gosh, that got me. If that didn't get anybody, oh my gosh, that got me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because later on that day, me and my son, because go to my father's grave and we go and water it and stuff. And we were talking about what's going to be on his epitaph. And we picked a quote from To Kill a Mockingbird that my brother recommended and that we all agreed on. And that quote is, "It's a shame the old man had to go. He was just getting the hang of things."
Mm.
And when I was talking to my son about it, he looked at me and it was so funny. He was like, "Mom, what do you want?" And I looked at him and I said, "We've said goodbye before, so it stands to reason we'll say hello again." And he just looked at me and he's like, "Wow."
Yeah. But
so good.
Yeah, but I really did like how like her finally letting go. I did get a bit of a emotion kind of there, because it was just like she was finally letting go of like what she lost, and then like what she was having. Like, I mean, because not only was that, because also we find out that she didn't actually steal Vision's body from that sword thing. It was just like she just saw it and she left, and she manifested Vision himself, just like how she manifested her children. And once she let go of everything, not only she was going to lose Vision, but she was also going to lose her kids. And so for her,
it felt like we finally got, well, not finally, but like she finally got some closure to it.
Mm-hmm.
And like to everything.
Yeah.
Like,
because
even
this is
going to that really poorly written movie Age of Ultron. But
and and it's and with this one, it's like this is also not only was this like her letting go of who she lost or what she wanted, this was also, the show was also like to finally give us the introduction to Scarlet Witch, because no one ever calls her that. It wasn't until Agatha gave her the name and told her who she really was.
And we finally get to see what the modernized suit looked like.
Yeah, which actually I really like. I like the cloak where it could also turn into a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say, Paul Bettany is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I like when the moments when it's like it's acting like a old 50s, 60s, 70s TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He's an amazing actor all around. I think I first fell in love with him in A Knight's Tale, where he played William Chaucer. If you haven't seen his portrayal of William Chaucer, every time like I think of William Chaucer now, all I see is Paul Bettany. And then, of course, the next time I really took notice in him when he was in A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, and he played the figment of his imagination of his best friend in that role. And I'm a fan. I've been a fan since the 90s of Paul Bettany.
Have you seen, this is a recent movie he was in, have you seen Uncle Frank yet?
I haven't.
It's really good.
I've heard that. That's on Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. He's really good in it. If we're going to talk, shifting from him being a great, funny actor to a really great actor, Uncle Frank, he's really good in that. He plays as a homosexual man who is trying to struggle telling his family that he's gay. And he even goes back down into his alcoholic phase, struggling with trying to tell his family, because at the same time he found out that his homophobic father died, and that was the big reason why he was going back. And it's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime, but that's not what we're talking about. But
I guess
other than that, you should watch that. It is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, like, with I guess like because how we've seen Paul Bettany as Vision in the MCU, he really had nothing to work with other than just him being an AI, and he loves Wanda, and there was nothing else that he could explore until they gave him to do like these sitcom things. That it really showed more of how like a great of an actor Paul Bentley can be in this than just being the AI we see in the MCU. It made me from like not really caring jack shit with Vision to like I really fucking love him in this show. Like,
yeah, like honestly, I feel like this is a great redemption for him because again, it goes back to just how poorly written Age of Ultron was, and that's where we get our introduction to Vision.
yeah, and I know there's some people out there that are like, oh, now that WandaVision's out, this show actually makes Age of Ultron better. No, Age of Ultron is still not good. It's poorly written.
Yeah, it's not good. That was all I was saying.
No, 100%. My son told me right now, he was like, Mom, it's trending. Age of Ultron is trending. I was like, wow.
Oh my god.
And it's
kind
like
of like when people came out for like their support for the prequels of Star Wars. And it's like, why? Why? They're not good.
Yeah, because when we were already hearing that like the new trilogy for Star Wars wasn't doing good, like no one liked it, they're like, oh, now do you have an appreciation to the prequels? No, the prequels still suck.
Edgar, you know what we should do?
What?
We should review all of the Star Wars movies.
Robin, I'm gonna kill you.
You haven't seen them yet.
Robin,
I've seen them all.
Hold up, Robin. Let me tell you this story. So, I was invited to a small like Star Wars marathon group, and we instead of starting with the original trilogy or with some of the new trilogy, we started with the prequels, and we saw I believe we saw episode 1 and 2, and we didn't finish episode 3 unless there was only 1 and 2. Either way, I saw all of episode 1, and oh my god, I was bored. I wanted.
That's blasphemy, Edgar. Never say that in public. People will know that you're a simple, and they will kill you.
I don't
Never
care.
repeat that.
Fun fact about me: I'm not really a big Star Wars fan.
That's even a bigger reason why we need to watch them and review them. We'll do it correctly, where we'll watch the original trilogy, then watch the prequels, and then watch the new sequels.
You hear this, folks? We're going to be doing another mini episode on this.
Maybe not a mini episode. It's going to span. Like, we're going to have an own individual episode arc of all the episodes, one review each. Let's go.
Oh god.
All I ask is if I can dress in character.
Yes.
Thank you, because I have several Star Wars costumes, and yes, I have a Princess Leia wig.
We can watch the original trilogy and be happy. Then we watch the prequels and be like, why did it not just be like the original trilogy? This is bad. And then we watch the sequels and we're like, God, I wish I could just watch the prequels instead.
No. I will still stand. I would rather watch the shitty new Disney trilogy than I would with the prequels, because
you have no idea how bad the new ones are.
What do you mean? I have no idea. I saw all 3 of the new trilogies. They are shit.
No, Edgar, you watch the first one, okay? I know you can be emotionally and mentally traumatized by Jar Jar Binks. Just tell me on the doll where Jar Jar Binks hurt you. God. If you can get past Jar Jar Binks, you can get to some great stuff.
I always stand by that. Before the new trilogy, this is a quick sidebar. Before the new trilogy came out, I have always said that episode 1 is the worst Star Wars movie that I've seen.
And I can agree with that, because
I'm okay with 2. If you're gonna just talk about the 3 prequel movies, I'm okay with it. But it's still bad. Don't get me wrong. Edgar, don't get me wrong. Edgar, stop making that noise. Don't get me wrong. It's bad.
Misa Jaja Binks.
Don't get me wrong. Episode 2 is bad, but compared to episode 1, episode 1's a lot worse. But
it's like, which one would I rather have, a turd sandwich or a giant douche?
Then the new trilogy came out,
I mean, obviously a giant douche.
The
I don't understand. I don't understand your metaphor there.
what is this? What is this? 2004?
Thank you.
Anyway, watch the first one. It was like, oh, it's just a rehash. It's just to get you back into enjoying Star Wars again.
Didn't Tobey Maguire voice Jar Jar Binks?
No.
So
I thought he. Oh no, I'm gonna Google this.
No, it wasn't him. It was someone else because they recently, like a couple of years ago, I believe, they did an interview with the actor and how he took like a lot of the criticisms and a lot of the backlash that they gave the Jar Jar Binks character, not only to him but to the actor himself.
well, really quick, just to wrap this up because we're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, we're getting way off topic. We went from WandaVision. We first went to like quarantine stuff to WandaVision, and now to the shitty prequels.
We're pretty much done talking about WandaVision.
Yes,
we'll get to our rating really quick. Look, just then The Last Jedi came out, and that, like, even though it's divisive, it is. I hate that movie, but at least it can make you think when I watched it a second time.
Yeah.
Then I watched Rise of Skywalker, and that infuriated me.
I
hate that movie.
Maybe
it made episode 1 look way better.
I don't think so. I disagree so hardly.
Like, no, you have no fucking clue, Edgar.
At least I was laughing of how stupid the Rise of Skywalker was. I was dying of boredom and I was tired when I was watching episode 1. I will stand to the ground. Episode 1 of Star Wars is god awful.
I think you just need to watch it with me.
How do you watch it?
With absinthe.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of absinthe. And of course the metal bikini.
Oh.
Now
Will there be
I've put on some pounds since then, but I think I can still squeeze it on.
will there be alcohol?
Lots of it.
Then I will.
Actually, though, Robin said he'll wear the bikini. I'm gonna do the traditional Queen Amidala robe.
Okay. Oh my god. With that big giant get up with the hair.
Full geisha makeup.
I mean that. Anyway.
Ratings.
Yes.
Ratings.
We'll go with Robin. Give me your overall thoughts and rating for this show, Robin.
My overall thoughts with this show is it is a really good shot in the dark type scenario show, because like I said this show was either going to be really good or it was going to sink the whole ship for the rest of the TV shows that were going to come out later. And I'm glad that it came out with a home run.
Can you hear me shaking my head?
No, I just love how it was just like
silence. Yeah.
I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really, it's not the best thing that I've seen in terms of shows, but it's really, really good. No, it's really good. Take out it's not the best that I've seen. It's really good, but I'm still keeping it.
Yeah.
We're doing a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
1 star.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm the softie. I'm the Paula Abdul of this panel, I think. Of most panels I am, and I gotta give it a 5. I absolutely adored it. I loved every single episode. And it gave me everything I wanted out of a show, including laughter, tears, nostalgia. I'm sold on a 5.
Nice. I guess for me, I love this show. It was a surprise, especially since I had no expectations going into this show. I didn't have interest of watching the show at all, but like once I was happy to be surprised that I saw something that was something new, something unique from the MCU after so many of these films that we've seen, that we were already at that point of getting fatigued, that I'm now excited for what else they have us to show, which I was not expecting at all from the show. There are some things that I'm like towards the ending, it's not as strong as it was at the beginning. some like I know how they ended the Quicksilver reveal where he's just a random guy. I was kind of hoping it was the X-Men version of the Quicksilver, so it could lead up to like multiverse stuff. But
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna say like it ties into like the upcoming Doctor Strange movie. There we go.
yeah, and that's what I was kind of hoping it would lead up to, but it was a bit of a disappointment, but at the same time I should have kept my expectations in check. But and sometimes it was towards the ending it wasn't as strong as I kind of wanted to be, but that really doesn't take away from like how much I really enjoyed this show, especially since it's something fresh and new, with the whole sitcom homages they done with it. And it was a great way for them to explore Wanda and Vision's like characters, to give them something to work with, to show the talents of these two actors and how these two characters can be interesting. And I was really relating with Wanda. I understood her grief. I felt for her a lot, and those moments were like the best moments for me. Of course we didn't really talk about or discuss like the sword group, which like that girl from Thor came back, who was also in Two Broke Girls. We didn't see her, we didn't discuss that part, but those parts were also interesting too, with those with the actors that were in that, and they were really great, especially with that Two Broke Girls actress. I forgot her name, but I didn't like her in the.
I know the character name is Darcy.
Yeah. I didn't like her in the Thor films, especially in Thor 2, but I really enjoyed her in this show. Like they redeemed her character in this show, which I was really happy of. And
again, because those two Thor movies were poorly written as well.
Yeah. And
because it wasn't until Ragnarok is what saved Thor.
Yeah. So. Thanks to Taika Waititi. And so yeah, like a lot of things, like these characters, Vision, they were all redeemed from what they previously were in like these poorly written scripts that introduced them. And so for me, I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. A nice 4 out of 5 stars for me.
Nice.
Yeah. And of course,
I love it. I love it when we all don't agree on one, because like when we're all a little different, because I think it's a great representation of everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah, that's about does this mini episodes, everybody. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you, Laurie, for being our lovely guest on this show today.
Of course. And you can follow me on Twitter, guys, to see what I'm up to. Laurie_Guajardo on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put her Twitter on the description below on the YouTube video. And if you're listening on Spotify, thank you guys for listening to us on Spotify and for watching us on YouTube or anywhere you're watching us. And with that, we love you all, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.